Okay, time for another special guest now, and this next special guest is no stranger to the shows. We've had him on a few times before. He is on the circuit, a singer, entertainer, and we welcome back Bill Bennett to the show.
Oh, Danny, thank you. Nice to hear from you again.
Oh yes, it's such a delight to have you back on.
My pleasure.
Let's start from the top. What's the weather like at this point of time?
What, life or singing life?
Yeah, I mean, how's life treated you, and what's the weather like as
Oh,
well?
weather today in Nice, South Wales is pleasant. We've had some very odd, not quite frosts, but very cold mornings and late evenings, and I think everyone is complaining about that in May. But today is quite pleasant. The wind has dropped. The old Enos tablets works well on the wind in my stomach. Oh, sorry, that's the outside wind. So yes, we've got a nice looking day outside.
Absolutely brilliant weather report there. Give the meteorologists a run for their money there.
Yeah, well, we always say that it's one of the few jobs in the world where the weathermen never get sacked
Yeah, that's
because
true.
they make so many mistakes, and they've got these millions of pounds worth of equipment, which doesn't seem to work when they try and give you a long-term forecast. I can't believe it.
Yeah, especially the other week. It just said rain, 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 and then we had a bit of sun all week. But
I know. They
yeah,
never get it right.
yeah. Anyway, a little birdie tells me you have a new cover out of a Glenn
Yeah.
Campbell classic.
Yes, I've sung quite a few of Glenn's lately, and a lot of his songs suit my voice, and not everybody's entertainer's songs suit my voice. But I've done Wichita Lineman, and I've done, Galveston, True Grit, Gentle on My Mind, and there's one or two others in the pipeline, which I can't mention yet because they're not even uploaded anywhere. But then I've started to sing a few Engelbert Humperdinck songs, despite the fact that Dean Martin, Sinatra, Matt Monro, Perry Como, even Neil Diamond and Elvis, they were all the ones I sang a lot of. So I'm branching out a little bit more and realizing there's a lot of songs, good songs out there that I can cope with.
Yes, I was about to say, I know you usually, your forte is usually like the Rat Pack and the vintage and the 50s, and this is, I guess, like a new genre to explore.
Yes, well, I mean, Dean, Frank, and Sammy, I think whatever happens, they will survive forever, I think, because of the style and the songs they sang and the coolness. I mean, Dean Martin and his coolness was unbelievable, and I think a lot of the young guys want to look at them if they want a future in the business, because they epitomized what we all wanted to be, and in the way they did it. But there we are.
And what do you like about country and western music? I've got some greats here as well, like Johnny Cash, absolutely a great icon, yeah.
Oh, icon. More than that even, Danny. The thing with country and western songs is they all mostly tell a story. And that's why I'm not sure if you're over familiar with Charlie Lansborough.
Yeah.
He sang in a pub in Birkenhead for 22 years before he was discovered. And then he became a worldwide star, particularly in Ireland and Australia. And he's written some fantastic songs, all leaning towards the stories, the emotional stories of country and western. His most famous song was What Color is the Wind, Daddy, where a young person was walking with the dad, and the kid said to the dad, what color is the wind? And Charlie wrote a song on the fact of all the things that the blind people can't see. And that's how good Charlie is. So he writes songs, the ones I love to sing, emotional country and western songs with a story.
Great, and you hit the nail on the head. Also, I was going to add Garth Brooks as well. The list goes on.
Yeah, all those American types with their Stetson hats on, they were all legends in their own way. Yeah. And again, they all told stories. I mean, even Dolly Parton and all those type of singers, Tammy Wynette, they all told stories because they were those type of songs.
What do you think of the modern country? It's kind of like a poppy twist to the songs. They're still keeping the format, the storytelling.
Well, yeah, I fully agree with you. They are needed for this younger generation anyway. And if they're going to listen, which they do, and buy the songs of these more modern people who are latching on slightly to country and western, then they'll look back and look at the real country and western singers. So it's good all round, isn't it?
A bit like a family tree, I guess.
It really is.
Yeah. And other greats, which I haven't mentioned in our previous interviews, I wanted to ask about Jim Reeves as well. Such a smooth voice, a silky voice, underrated as well. What do you appreciate about that man himself?
Oh, well, if you look at his record in regard to selling records and recording records, he was up there with the best. He sang some good songs and he had a unique voice, didn't he?
And film stars as well. I know we talk a lot about music, but were you ever into films? Do you have any like favorite film stars from the 50s, 60s, even before?
Well, yeah,
yeah,
in the old days, I always loved two types of films. One was the Western, the other was the biblical films, The Robe, Demetrius and the Gladiators, Ben-Hur, and of course all the musicals, the Doris Day musicals particularly. I mean, was there ever a better film than Calamity Jane? As such a happy, uplifting song with Doris Day at her peak as a singer.
yeah. And you mentioned like biblical films. Was it Gone with the Wind as well? That was an old
Well,
B&W
that was
film.
that was an epic film from the late 30s, wasn't it? I think about
Yeah.
37, 39. Yeah, big film. What was it? I can't think of the guy's name. The main star was, and I can't think of who it is, but that was a legend of a film.
And you mentioned country films as well. John Wayne as well. What a veteran.
Oh, gosh. Well, there's a story about John Wayne which surprised Glenn Campbell, actually. Glenn Campbell, he was appearing at a club somewhere in America, and John Wayne arrived, and John went over to him and says, Glenn, and Glenn Campbell was, John Wayne was an idol of his, and he said, Mr. Wayne, what do I call you? Duke. He said, call me Duke. And apparently, a year or two later, he was so impressed with Glenn's singing that he phoned up and said, my director has said, from what I told him, I want you in my next film, True Grit. And that was all because John Wayne loved Glenn Campbell. And of course, Glenn Campbell sang the signature tune of the film, True Grit, one of the great cowboy films and cowboy songs.
Oh, wow. And on to lockdown as well. How has this been treating you? Have you missed your gigs as well? And what do you think of all
Yes.
this? What do you think of all this Facebook Live? People don't seem to be doing it so much now. They've been kind of tightening the net on people performing the songs online, haven't they?
Yeah, I think it will open up again. I think people are still being a bit careful. I had two or three outdoor shows last year in large care homes that had the large garden. But of course, you couldn't sing in the other ones with the small entertainment lounge. I think it's all going to come back. I mean, it's easy. I'm a member of Equity, and Equity are now saying that it's almost on the cards. The theatres are going to start opening, which will open every venue eventually for everybody.
True. On this day as well, they've just announced, the limited places which are opening like for holidays now on the green lists, which is good.
Yes. Places around here. I mean, there's a lot of holiday places around here. We've got the famous Gower, which is only 10 miles up the road. We've got the Aberavon Beach in Port Talbot, which is a beautiful, lengthy, sandy beach. There's Barry Island, all the local areas. They're all slowly opening because in this area we have lots of caravan parks, and they're all starting to open as well. So it's all good news all round after a terrible year.
Beautiful. And when you do your act, how I know you're quite a witty person. I mean, you do have a banter online, the jokes. How important is a sense of humour, patter and banter with your audience?
Oh yeah, depending what the audience is, of course. I mean, I was 20 years living on Merseyside, which is really the home of comedy. And someone says you've got to be a comic to live there. But yes, it adds a little bit. When I did my 3 one-man shows in the Arts Wing in the Swansea Grand Theatre, I did 37 songs in the full show. But of course, I had a little spot where I got my stool out and I told my audience, I'm not going to be a stand-up comedian, so I'm going to sit down. And then I did a few jokes. It breaks up the songs as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a good part of the act as well. People like that, don't they?
Oh, people want a bit of entertainment in regard to singing and jokes. I do lots of silly jokes. There's one joke I've always said, where if I do a show and I'm in a particular area, I say, did you hear the news today that at 3 o'clock this morning, all the toilet seats in Neath Police Station were stolen and the police have nothing to go on?
Classic. And what does Bill Bennett like to enjoy in his own spare time?
Well, as I said to you pre-interview, I'm sadly, after a lot of years of running, I've got a knee operation on schedule for some time, which will probably affect my singing this summer, because I don't know what the date is yet, but I've had the letter from the hospital, so it's sometime soonish. And that's what I love doing. With this damn knee as it is, I can't do my garden like I do. We cut the lawn the other day, but there are hedges that need trimming, and I'm trying to do it myself because standing for a long time is a damn pain on this knee. But certainly athletics and sport and my Liverpool Football Club, they've always been my interests outside singing.
And yes, just before the interview as well, I did say you're a fighter, Bill. So yes, hope it all goes well with the operation when you do eventually come around to having it done.
Danny, thank you very much indeed once again for the interview.
And on the final note, what would you like to say to your followers here in the UK, in Europe, and across the pond as well?
I'd just like to say thanks for responding to the lovely songs I sing. And if I may say, there's a young lady over there in Florida called Karen Williams who does lots in promoting me over there and produces, I don't know whether you've seen any of them, the most beautiful collages to go with my songs. She's done a beautiful one for Wichita Lineman with pictures of me and Glenn Campbell on it. And I'd like to thank Karen very much indeed for all she does.
Thanks, Karen. And thank you, Bill. Much obliged for sharing your anecdotes today. And good health and best of luck with everything.
Thank you, Danny. And good luck with the fish and chips later on.
You betcha. All the best. Catch up with you soon, Bill.
Bye-bye, my friend.
Bye-bye. Goodbye.
Thank you.